For over 50 years, The Price is Right has been a beloved afternoon television program, filled with memorable moments, laughs, and huge winnings. However, an incredible incident nearly ended the entire performance. It wasn't phony. It remained in place. Additionally, management were clueless about what to do when it occurred in real time. CBS authorities considered shutting down the show because the censors were not reacting fast enough. What transpired on stage stunned the audience, and it appeared that the show was permanently finished. The Price is Right began as a much simpler concept, a game show based on the price tag, which is what most people are most interested in, before the flashing lights, spinning wheels, and confetti showers. It's amazing to think that nobody anticipated the show's success when it debuted in the 1950s. Undoubtedly, nobody anticipated that it would last for decades, transform, and win over millions of people from all generations. If you're enjoying this video, don't forget to like, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for more amazing content. And hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Now, back to the topic. What we were talking about was... On November 26, 1956, NBC aired The Price is Right's debut episode. The presenter was Bill Cullen. Compared to the version that most people are familiar with today, this early version was much quieter. The competitors bid on products in silence and without fuss. It was simple to read. Each player would be given the opportunity to estimate the price at which the items would sell without going over. Fur jackets, appliances, and even expensive vacations were awarded to the person who came the closest. It was a pleasant middle-class program that demonstrated the interest Americans had in shopping following World War II, and when the economy improved in the late 1950s and early 1960s, viewers sought to furnish their houses with modern goods. The show was successful for nearly a decade before it was canceled in 1965. But it was not the end. After a 7-year hiatus, The Price is Right returned to CBS on September 4, 1972. This time, it was different. The gifts were larger and better, the tempo was quicker, and the tone was more cheerful. The most significant change was perhaps the addition of Bob Barker as the show's new host. The Price is Right transformed from a game show to an American tradition with this new season. People immediately liked Bob Barker because of his ease, charm, and subtle sense of humor. He connected with the candidates in an easy and engaging way. During Barker's tenure, little games like Plinko, Cliffhangers, and the now famous Showcase Showdown were released. The game show had evolved into something more. A lot of enjoyable activities were taking place. Contestants were yelled, "Come on down," with great excitement, and this phrase gained popularity. Every program felt like a live party because of the studio crowd, which was frequently made up of yelling fans wearing matching t-shirts. By the middle of the 1970s, The Price is Right was consistently among the most viewed daytime TV programs in the United States due to its skyrocketing ratings. It was relatable, tense, and enjoyable in just the right amounts. Unlike quiz shows that required intelligence and rapid thinking, The Price is Right was not like that. Regular folks who were aware of the costs of items at the store and around the house were honored. Anyone could prevail. All age groups like it because it was simple to access. Bob Barker was consistently associated with the show for the next 30 years. His trademark helped control the pet population. "Have your pet spayed or neutered" became a famous saying along with the Showcase Showdown. Barker's ease and gentle tone gave people the impression that they could trust The Price is Right. During the day, the entire family could watch it. However, Barker's tenure in office wasn't without its challenges. Former models made allegations that they were mistreated and harassed behind the scenes. His otherwise positive reputation was damaged by the charges made against him. Barker rejected many of the claims, and some were resolved out of court. Consequently, the producers of the show tightened regulations and frequently switched models. Nevertheless, these issues did not halt the show's development. Before he left in 2007, Barker presented almost 6,700 game show episodes. He became one of the game show hosts with the longest tenure in history as a result. After Barker retired, many fans feared that The Price is Right wouldn't be the same without him. Nevertheless, CBS made a bold decision by appointing actor and comedian Drew Carey to the new series. At first, the onlookers were distrustful. Carey had enormous shoes to fill as Barker's serious manner disappeared. He spoke in a lighter tone than Barker. Carey eventually demonstrated, however, that he wasn't there to replace Barker. His purpose was to improve the show. During his tenure, the energy got more contemporary, but the structure remained mostly unchanged. New games were introduced, the prize pools grew, and the set became increasingly complex. More significantly, the show maintained its core. Carey's generosity, modesty, and capacity to appreciate the excitement of the competitors won over a new generation of followers. The Price is Right maintained its large following and devoted audience. By sharing amusing videos and situations on social media that turned into memes, it even attracted younger viewers. The Price is Right appeared to be unbeatable by the 2010s. It had endured host changes, outlasted the majority of its rivals, and continued to receive millions of views daily. It was dependable, romantic, and family-friendly, qualities that are rarely seen on television these days. However, one live event nearly destroyed that reputation after that. No one anticipated it. Something the creators were unable to eliminate. Something that briefly caused CBS executives to really question if this wildly successful game show could continue. The seamless flow of the show was disrupted in a single, memorable moment. Initially, it was simply another taping day. The throng was brimming with activity. There was the usual wave of excitement as people were summoned down. And Drew Carey was just as joyful as ever. An eager and enthusiastic contestant started bidding on a luxury package that included a trip to the Bahamas and a brand new car as the showcase showdown got underway. It became tense. The wheel of fate began to spin once again as the crowd roared. Then it happened. As they celebrated what appeared to be a successful bid, the candidate collapsed on stage. The applause gave way to gasps. For a terrifying moment, even Carey stopped moving. The cameras continued to record the astonished quiet as the medics and stage personnel hurried onto the stage. The room's lights were bright. There was silence in the room. CBS abruptly went to ads, shocking those watching the live event. The Price is Right's idyllic dream was abruptly dashed. The plot does not specify this. The prize wasn't awarded too soon, and the game wasn't broken. A medical catastrophe occurred in front of millions of people, and it was real life. Carey addressed the audience while wearing a dejected expression when the event resumed. Out of respect, the remaining taping had to be postponed while the participant received medical assistance. The concert concluded early that day. The show didn't end well today for the first time in its existence. That one incident immediately made headlines. By speculating about the contestants' health and blaming everything from stress to unfavorable studio circumstances, some tabloids added intrigue to the slide. The response, or lack thereof, from CBS piqued the interest of others. As they watched, many questioned whether it was appropriate to continue filming, even for a brief period of time, following such a horrific incident. Social media exploded. Hashtags were widely used. Millions of people saw what should have been a joyful moment turn into a terrifying one when real-time video clips of the fall went viral online. Executives were running around inside CBS. Meetings continued late into the night. The video was viewed by legal teams. PR teams wrote the statements. The health and safety regulations were thoroughly reviewed. There were serious discussions about ending the show, possibly permanently. Furthermore, The Price is Right wasn't supposed to be that heavy. It was not intended to contain danger or catastrophe. It was difficult to distinguish between frightening and enjoyable at the time. Although Drew Carey remained composed and professional throughout, others who worked on the show claimed that he appeared rattled for weeks. He was aware of the tradition he would be continuing when he took the position. He became the star of a show that addressed real-life concerns in real time, though, at that same moment. His composed demeanor on television served as the bridge connecting the comfort and turmoil. Fortunately, the competitor survived. It was later discovered that they experienced an unexpected, significant, but non-fatal medical incident. They recovered after receiving treatment, and they even released a statement expressing gratitude to the audience and personnel of the performance for their support. The Price is Right's reputation was still damaged, though. The sponsors weren't sure. In response to inquiries from affiliates, CBS secretly announced new guidelines regarding crowd control, medical screenings, and emergency procedures. Previously, contestants were chosen primarily on their enthusiasm and personality, but now their health was also discreetly assessed. Behind-the-scenes processes were altered. Nevertheless, following the tragedy, an odd thing occurred. Viewers returned in greater numbers. The ratings skyrocketed the following week. People felt something genuine, not because they were looking for more drama. They were reminded by that brief respite from perfection that even the highly polished and well-executed The Price is Right is still live, real, and populated. The authors did not exploit that humanity, rather, they played it up. A few minor adjustments were made. In between rounds, the competitors had more time to relax. Staff were more visible during changes, allowing spectators to see the equipment that creates the magic. Known for his humility, Carey added realism to his performance. More of a guide and less of a host. There was a little but significant shift in tone. Longtime fans took notice. People enjoyed its candor, and because the show didn't try to hide its scar, new viewers, many of whom were attracted by viral interest, stayed. It advanced slowly and cautiously. The trip nearly didn't happen, which was an odd turning point. What might have ended the show ended up being a wake-up call that strengthened it. Not just practically, but also in terms of the mind. Everyone who worked on the play, including the stagehands, gained a better understanding of its significance to the public. That a vacation to Cancun or a toaster were not the only prizes. For people of all ages, it was a memory, a ritual, and an Americana artifact. The incident eventually faded from the news. However, its impact could still be felt in the CBS corridors and the Beverly Boulevard studio. More security was in place. The contestant screening process was more rigorous. Knowing that even decades of success could end in an instant, the crew was also acutely aware of how precarious things were. In a way that they don't express aloud, people nevertheless honor that occasion. It is rarely seen again. There are unofficial videos of it online, and staff members frequently discuss it. However, it left a mark on the sand for those who witnessed it. Prior to its demise, The Price is Right was a show. And from then on it became more like real life. Every competitor today receives more attention and applause because of it. The managers closely monitor the audience for this reason. Carey's songs now seem a little cozier and more in the moment as they begin. Because even on the greatest TV stage, reality can appear anywhere. And when it does, more than just the presents are important. That is what people do. That was the driving force behind The Price is Right. No, the people, not the scores. There was a noticeable shift in goal as things settled down and the show resumed its regular schedule. The Price is Right has no intention of becoming novel. It was not necessary. To reconnect with the people who had supported it for generations, it needed something a little less overt. Yes, it did. The show was viewed differently by the producers. The Price is Right was mostly about ordinary individuals becoming famous, many for the first time in their life, despite all the fun and excitement. The games might have been about the expense of dream vacations, cars, and microwaves. But things were never truly the focus of the show. People's reactions, such as their gasps, tears, or shock at winning something they never imagined possible, were the focus. That human element gained much more significance. Now they had more time to share their tales. Their moments were given breathing room, whether it was a retired veteran or a single mother receiving a new car. The crowd applauded both the individuals and the presents. The Price is Right's heart pounded more rapidly as a result. Behind the scenes, Carey's guidance was more crucial than ever. Attempting to walk in Bob Barker's shoes was no longer enjoyable. Carey, who had made a name for himself, was warm, witty, and kind. He was now discussing real-life experiences rather than only giving out stuff. He was guiding actual people through once-in-a-lifetime experiences. And after what transpired, he was even more kind. Having an impact on the community was also strongly but subtly supported. Special episodes were produced to pay tribute to everyday heroes, educators, and first responders. Without seeming overly preachy, the presentation concentrated on causes. It developed into a location where presents were exchanged and stories were honored. Veterans received honors. When the school awarded teachers money, they were taken aback. For every reason, nurses received paid breaks. The joy had matured, but it was still there. The production crew went above and above behind the scenes to ensure everyone's safety. Everything was altered, including the use of more sophisticated screening techniques for potential candidates and the presence of medically trained personnel in the audience. What initially appeared to be a recreational machine evolved into something more like to a living entity with the capacity to evolve, take care of itself, and learn. Comments from the audience took precedence over what had previously been an afterthought. Social media teams began closely monitoring what viewers enjoyed most, not just the victories but also the events, reactions, reunions, and genuine surprises. People became prosperous with this new funds. Not all of the most popular videos received the best rewards. Big hearts were present. However, the show never forgot how close it came to blowing up. Once perceived as a threat, that weakness proved to be a silent force. It prevented people from being overly arrogant. It made me see things differently. Now that they were aware of the true stakes, everyone appeared to take their roles more seriously, including the cameramen and speakers. The Price is Right was more than just a game show. It appeared to be a mirror. It demonstrated the American people's optimism, diversity, hardship, happiness, and yes, even suffering. Everything could change in the blink of an eye. But things could be reassembled with community, fun, and grace. The program went on to subtly dominate afternoon television for many years after that. Tricks weren't necessary. Trends were not followed by it. It followed sincerity and remained loyal to its origins. The Price is Right was a lot of fun, but its essential strength was its ability to remain genuine in a world full of diversions. Over time, The Price is Right did not simply improve. It matured. It meticulously updated its structure while drawing from its past. When the 50th anniversary finally arrived, it seemed as though it had been predestined. The CBS primetime special that aired on September 30, 2021, was unlike any other. Missing the past wasn't the only thing at stake. The fact that they had survived 50 years of shocks, laughter, and ordinary individuals briefly becoming celebrities astounded me. After many years, Carey is now completely at ease in his new role as host. The program honored Bob Barker's life in more ways than one. It shown reverence for the entire trip. The 50th anniversary special offered more than just the extravagant montages and large awards. It was the methodical fusion of the past and present. The combination of recent victories and ancient clips gave the impression that you were going back in time. Longtime models and crew members returned. The sounds of familiar catchphrases that had been in use for generations filled the room. You could sense the reality in the background, too. This show had survived all that television could throw at it. The anniversary was not only about the studio. Coming on Down's nationwide tour was a bold move that CBS had never taken before. Before 2022, many fans from all around the nation had never visited California, but suddenly they could get up close and personal with the show. Large towns were visited by mobile setups including popular games like Punch-a-Bunch and Plinko. It was more than just a commercial decision. It was a neighborhood celebration. People waited in line for hours to play and to reminisce with their relatives about their early years. Together, grandparents and grandchildren waited to spin a wheel they had only ever seen on television. This piece was really human, well thought out, and intelligent. The creators of The Price is Right were aware that it was more than just a studio production. Millions of people will always remember the land move. And this excursion felt like a reunion after a global disease kept people apart. The show embraced the new adjustment inside as well. Participants could participate from home if they spotted QR codes on screens. Fans may now upload audition films online for the first time in hopes of being selected as contestants, while behind-the-scenes information was widely shared on social media. The show, which was once situated in a certain location, now seemed to have no bounds, but its allure remained. Despite the chaos, Carey maintained his composure. He didn't have to be noticeable. He made no effort to emulate Barker's writing. Instead, he spoke to the competitors more like friends than fictional characters and utilized his own gentle pace. It was successful. Even when the rest of the world wasn't safe, the show seemed safe because of his generosity and cunning humor. A particularly poignant moment occurred during the anniversary presentation when the camera paused on the big wheel, which was illuminated by studio lights, and remained there for a few more seconds. It was simply the wheel's slow rotation, which represented time, luck, and all of the past. The press was given behind-the-scenes stories by people who had been involved with the program for decades. The day Bob Barker first appeared on set was a topic of conversation. When Carey recorded his first rehearsal, someone else saw how anxious he was. They all agreed that the magic wasn't limited to the games or the set. The competitors, the audience, and the millions of viewers at home were the evidence. The makers also had the opportunity to discuss the near miss in public during the 50th anniversary. CBS discreetly acknowledged the incident that nearly brought everything to a halt, despite the fact that no names were mentioned. They took this action to acknowledge the growth it brought about, not to call attention to it. Discussions included improved training, a greater focus on mental and physical wellness, and the minor adjustments that enabled and enhanced the presentation. The Price is Right wasn't merely standing there when the anniversary celebration was ended. This time, it was even more crucial. In the past, individuals had short attention spans, streamed movies rapidly, and shows were discarded as soon as they were released. Few shows were able to do what The Price is Right did. It endured due to its mission as well as its innovative concepts. It respected its audience, paid attention to the past, and cautiously looked to the future. No matter how much the business evolved, one thing remained constant. When the voice said, "Come on down," people continued to listen. As the game board buzzes, the wheel spins, and players leap for joy, perhaps that is why The Price is Right endures to this day.